We heard you guys loud and clear. You requested it and it's here. It's the Thermaltake View 270. Let's do our usual thing, ladies and gents. Let's rip it apart. Let's see what makes it tick. But before that, here's a word from Claire and our video sponsor.
This video is brought to you by VIPSTDKey.com. Have you ever installed Windows 11 only to see the watermark of death? You don't need to fork out a couple of $100s for a key. You can grab one from today's video sponsor, from VIPSTDKey.com for 1/10 of the price. You can use our code GEAR to get 30% off for this month only. How good is that? That takes that already cheap Windows 11 key and makes it even cheaper. It's easy as placing your order. Bingo bango. You've got your new key on your orders page. You chuck that key into the activation screen and you're good to go. No more watermark of death. Use code GEAR to get 30% off for this month only. Link in the description. On with the video. Back to you, Nick.
All right, panel removal on the View 270 TG. First of all, there's a little cutout on the back edge of the side TG panel, and you kind of pull it towards you and you can pop out the TG panel towards you, and then you kind of lift it and away we go. For rear panel removal, there's two captive thumb screws, one at the top, one at the bottom. Loosen up those screws and then you can pull the panel back from the case. To remove the front glass, kind of pull it away from the panel. Just be careful because it's glass, right? Also be aware that when you remove the front glass on cases like this, you will get a bit of case flex, but that being said, the View 270 TG is the most rigid case I've felt that is like this. That's incredible. There's two included magnetic dust filters. There's this one here that goes on the top of the case, and then there's this little magnetic dust filter that goes on the bottom of the intake for your power supply. For power supply support, it supports up to a 220mm power supply. And I would say that if you remove the hard disk cage at the front of the case, that you'd probably get more power supply clearance. Speaking of hard disk support, on the rear we've got a sled for a 2.5-inch SSD, and then we've got this little cage here which you can mount up to two 3.5-inch spinning rush drives or two 2.5-inch SSDs. There's a single pre-installed 140mm addressable RGB PWM fan on the back of the case. For top fan and radiator support on the 270 View, you can do up to a 360mm liquid cooler. 280mm coolers won't work because of how deep the cooler is. As well as that, you can do two 140mm fans or three 120mm fans up top. On the side, there's no radiator support, but you can do two 120mm fans here. I would recommend setting these as intake and not exhaust. The View 270 can also have three 120mm fans mounted on the bottom. There's little threaded screw holes here, and you would typically use this as intake. That's why the bottom of the PSU cover is mesh, because it can pull all the air through here and up and into your graphics card. And lastly, on the rear, you can do up to a 140mm fan or a 120mm fan if you like. For motherboard support, you're looking at ITX up to ATX, no eATX, and as far as I can see, it won't support motherboards with back connectors for one simple reason. First of all, the cutouts here look like they're in the wrong spot, and there's no cutout along the bottom edge for all of the connectors on a back connector motherboard. As for GPU support in the View 270, you're looking at a maximum supported length of up to 420mm. However, you cannot vertically mount in this case because it has the support braces on the back where the PCIe cutouts are. So unless you want to cut those out or there's a bracket that supports those, you won't be able to do it. For front panel connectivity, we've got a USB Type-C cable, a USB Type-A cable, a block for all the lights and switches, so you don't need to plug in each cable individually, and a front panel audio connector. As for the top panel itself, you've got a power button, there's a hard disk activity light, a power light, a reset switch, a microphone jack, a headphone jack, two USB Type-A ports, and a USB Type-C port. I think that's everything you need to know about the Thermaltake View 270 for now. But let's do a build, we'll test the thermals and all that jazz, but just to address something that I know I'm gonna see in the comments almost straight away is, hey, this looks like the Phanteks XT View, it looks like it, it's similar in design, but I pulled out our version of it that we've got here, and I had a look, and the motherboard trays and everything are completely different, and a lot of the offsets and everything are completely different. They are quite similar in dimension, but other than that, there's no real similarity other than the way they look. So yeah, I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna build. Let's do it. All right, let's take a look at the thermals. What you're seeing on your screen right now is the thermals are pretty good. Remember, this CPU doesn't typically get too hot, but it is a good indication of the baseline of the type of hardware that people would put in this case. So overall, I think the thermals aren't too bad here. GPU temperatures are really, really good. And that's mainly to do with the PSU shroud being mesh, and it can just pull the air in, up and through that into the GPU with a fresh air supply all of the time. So I would say the View 270 has pretty acceptable thermals. If you're interested in any of the hardware, there's a PCPartPicker list down below in the description, and it will just show you everything that was used in the video, but I do put little cards in the video that shows everything as I'm building. Alrighty, the Thermaltake View 270. Now, one thing that Thermaltake's been doing really well with their last few cases that we've seen is the build quality. That's the reason why we weren't covering their cases much over the last few years, because I felt like there was a bit of a drop off in quality, but now I don't know what they've done. I don't know what's going on over at Thermaltake, but their cases are a heck of a lot better. They're also doing other things that don't annoy me. Like, say for instance, the last few years, I mean, probably since 2020, they had these crazy long and thick fan cables with all of these controllers, and now with all of Thermaltake's fans, they're like uni fans, right? They connect magnetically, one connector, standard 3-pin 5-volt addressable RGB connector, and a PWM fan connector. That's it. All the new Thermaltake stuff that I'm seeing is less complicated. And that's kind of the whole point of the View 270 as well. It's meant to be budget and less complicated. So building in the case is really easy. I built this thing in probably like 35 minutes. It is an absolute dream to build in. As far as cable management, you can take a look at this clip here. As you're seeing on the back, it's fine. Like I just had no problems with building in this case. What I'm gonna say is, if this is a sign of what Thermaltake is doing now, I hope that they can keep doing things with this quality at this price point, because they're making some of their best cases at the moment. Like with the Tower 300, that thing was very surprising to me, because typically it's not a form factor that I would care about at all, but because you could lay it down with the stand, that made it more interesting, and it kind of added a bit more of a value proposition, right? For me personally, like I'm quite picky with things that I would choose myself, and something like the View 270 is something that I would choose, and here's why. First of all, the hydrangea color, it's actually pretty nice, I like it. But not only that, it's just the simplicity of it and the footprint. This is not a huge case, this is very small. And I already know there's going to be comments from people saying, hey, it's like the Phanteks XT View. Yes, I know. But as I mentioned a bit earlier in the video, they look similar, but that's where the similarities end. A lot of the differences are internally with this case. And I'm rambling. You get it. It's a really nice case. That's all I'm going to say, guys. Thermaltake absolutely nailed the View 270. And it feels weird for me because, like I said, like I was so disappointed with Thermaltake cases over the last couple of years. It is really good to see that they're making some really nice stuff now. Seriously, look at the color. Like, it's crazy. I hope it translates to video, but it's so cool. They even made all the fans in the same color. They even made the RAM and the cooler in the same color. Who else is doing that? There's no one else that does this, and I think it's cool because some people like that vibe. I hope they make the rest of their hardware in like the colors that match their cases. Probably not, but yeah, really cool to see. Good work, Thermaltake. Honestly, really good work. You guys are doing good stuff. Keep doing it. Now, if you're interested in the View 270, they're going for around about $80 US or around about 140 Aussie dollars at the time of filming this video. And it is a little bit more expensive than the Phanteks XT View. It's $1 difference. But again, remember, with the Phanteks case, you are getting those extra fans. But, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. It's really up to you. You guys asked us to do this. If you like the music you heard here, I make all the music. It's available by clicking that join button right down there, down below. Not only do you become a channel member from clicking that, but you help support Bindi, our cat. She's very cute. Anyways, that's going to do it for me. Hope you enjoyed it. Thermaltake View 270. A very nice work, Thermaltake. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peek, we seek, and watch a video. I don't know, I guess there's a video here somewhere. You can watch it. Look, maybe I'll hold the video frame up. And if you made it to this part of the video, let us know in the comments down below. But you won't because you're scared. Thanks for watching.
You gotta stop telling people they're scared.
They're scared.
You won't do it.
You won't.
You've changed.
Yeah, you guys have changed. What can I say? They're scared.
Stop threatening people.
I'm not threatening anyone, they're just scared. Like, that's just a fact. It's not me threatening, they're just scared.